Sorry to wait, sir. Go ahead. You might be kicked out of there. Let's just swing over here. Curran Shaw?
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
there
I
last
think he was here.
Okay. I got a question for you. Why do you leave the sticker on your cap?
I don't know, something to do.
That's the youthful.
Makes it shiny,
That's
I
the-
guess.
That's the youthful
I think
thing
it's
to
a thing,
do.
yeah, I've seen
That's
that.
the youthful thing to do. Sometimes people wear a flat brim. It's supposed to be cool in some circles too, or something. Right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I've seen some people like
Which
you
is
as well.
which is odd to me. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so Carl, talk to me. What's going on? How you doing?
I really need to know how to find some help,
Yeah.
because I keep trying to say what I want to say, and it seems like nobody's listening. It seems like the psychiatric division has got me so scared to leave my house and do anything because I'm afraid of what can happen to me because I don't share the same opinions as you. Now, I've explained to you guys that Dr. Poku locked me up without talking to me. The same people who had me to the point where I wanted to kill myself got me put it back into the hospital. No talking to. I really need to find out what I can do about Dr. Poku. Because I told him my wife was a narcissist, just like I told you. And you sat there in front of her and said, "How much more of this can you take, Mrs. Smith?" I have been asking and begging for help the whole time. Poku, I showed him a video of my wife lying
Of your wife.
about him. I was assaulted by my wife. She still had the ability to call the courts and have me brought in. Now, this to me doesn't make sense, because I don't know what you call it, a conservatorship or whatever it is, where they take your ability to do everything. He was going to take that from me. He put me in a court for me to be able to take care of myself. To me, this doesn't make sense. I've went over everything with this man. When I was in here for those 2 weeks, I talked to that man for 15 minutes.
David Paul, you take your mask off if you like.
Okay. I talked to him for 15 minutes. And I can prove that he lied to me. He tried to force me to get a shot. And I refused. And he told me if I took the shot, I could go home. And then after that, that's when he threatened me with the court and everything else. So you got to understand why this doesn't make sense to me. I've never been violent. I've only ever been suicidal once. That was my biggest mistake, because I came here and asked for help. And I got Poku. Now, this is a travesty is what has gone on in my life. All I wanted to do was talk, because everything that has happened to me is based on lies. My accident, I can prove it. I have videos, I have their statement. That has cost me $600 plus my insurance to go up, because I couldn't mentally keep my mouth shut in court because I knew it was a lie. Now, I can prove all this. I don't understand what's going on. I don't. Everybody says I'm paranoid. I'm not paranoid. I'm looking at the information. You want to think Justin Trudeau is a good guy? I'm good with that. I think he's a child molester because he has an NDA. Hockey Canada, he covered it up for 4 years. Child molesters. They paid with my money, your money, to a bunch of parents who didn't think it was right to go through the court system and took money for people molesting their children. And I don't think that that's right, and everybody else does. Now, I don't care what everybody else thinks. I'm willing to listen and take on other information, which seems like nobody else is willing to do. Like, you can sit there and you can tell me whatever you think, but if you're unwilling to sit there and look at my side of the story, that makes you ignorant, not me, because I've looked at your side. I got my COVID shot. based on my doctor. I had that man my whole life. I trusted him. I don't think he wanted to do any harm to me. But then you start looking at the whole COVID thing. You got Bill Gates who pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And then he sells his stocks. Now he's coming out saying, hey, I guess it didn't work out all that well, but I made all this money off of it. Now I own all the farmland. Now all this shit's blowing up all over. These cattle farms are blowing up all over the place. You can check it out for yourself. Train derailments, and I'm not supposed to look into it. I'm supposed to say, hey, I believe everything that you say to me, Mr. Government, because you would never lie to me, because you've never done it before. The CBC is paid by our tax dollars and has their rhetoric coming to us. And because I have these thoughts and feelings, I have to worry about coming back in here. Because another thing about my wife, the last time we got into an argument, I sat there in front of the cops, because I've had problems with the cops too. This is the problem. I seem like a freaking paranoid idiot because I'm talking about all these bad things that these people have did. But here's the problem. I have the receipts. I went to the Elmer cops and asked them for help. Do you know what the chief of police told me? To shut my mouth because I was a liar and a loser. And I pulled my phone up and I said, find out if I'm a liar. You're telling me that I am a degenerate who doesn't pay anything. Everybody else is supporting me. Well, that mortgage is under my name and you won't even look at it. You won't take a look at the bank records to see if I'm lying.
So, when you say you, are you talking me or the public at large?
The public at large, like the police. I went to them on 2 separate occasions. The last time, just please let me finish. The last time the police were involved in my house, because my wife, if I don't agree with her, she'll chase me all around the house. I don't want to fight. I'm good. I actually called the cops, and in front of the cops, my wife told them she wants me out of the house, and as soon as I'm out of the house, she's calling you again, and I'm getting locked up. Did that right in front of the cops.
So Carl, is this recent?
Yes.
Conflict?
This last one, yes.
What, like a few days ago or a few weeks ago?
This was probably about 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
So Carl, are you being kicked out of the house then?
Well, here's the deal. I got certain rules I got to follow.
But aren't you?
Either I take your medicine, and I stop smoking dope, or I get out of the house that I worked my ass off for. Not the people who are lying and saying that they did, because there's proof.
Carl,
There's bank records and everything.
Carl, listen, I'm not a lawyer, but if your name is on the deed, though, you can't just be kicked out like that, I don't think.
Well, here's the deal. When my wife assaulted me, and I had to call the police, and it's all documented, right? I went in there, I said, listen, I don't want her charged. I just want some time alone. I need to think about what I need to do, because Poca would send me back home with her. I'd have things worked out where I could go somewhere else. For some reason, he'd put me back with her. Like, she assaulted me, and then I have her so she can stay in the basement of her house. The police tell me they never do that. So she cuts my internet off. Now, I don't know if you know about what the internet does anymore. It controlled, because she would shut my internet off, so therefore I had no access to call anybody. I couldn't find numbers. I couldn't do anything. I called 911 for help. They laughed at me. I went to the police station and asked for help. The fucking internet is in my name. They told me there's nothing they could do about it. And I'm like, the only reason she's still in my house is because I begged for it so I didn't get hurt, because I knew my kids would come after me. But still, they do nothing. She assaults me. The cops are picking me up, bringing me here for violence and suicide. I've never been violent or suicidal, but let me tell you who has. My brother, who has had a different situation at the hospital, who has been violent, has threatened the police, has threatened to kill himself, and never spent more than a day in the hospital. So you tell me how this works, how I'm supposed to feel good, because I think I'm trying to help people. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm putting information out there, asking questions. I never assume anything. I'm asking the questions. And everybody says, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Here's some medicine. Shut your mouth. I don't care what anybody like, you can feed me information so that I can understand better, but if you're not willing to give me that information, you have no right to change my mind. No right at all. I have those rights. And as far as I'm concerned, our freedoms and rights are being taken away from us. And no one wants to even look at it or talk about it. Let's share our information. Let's work together. But instead, we want to hate each other. That's all we do. I've been on the internet playing this stupid game, and it's hate, 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 hate. It's hate-filled. My workplace, who killed somebody, and I'm not allowed to fight for what I think is right because I went to the Ministry of Labor. They did nothing. I'm not just making this up. They put a system in place that was a failing system, and
Just remind me, Carl, where it is.
it's Marwood Metal in Tillsonburg.
Okay.
So
And it's a
manufacturing plant. They supply parts for Subaru, Toyota,
right.
like all over the place.
Automobile parts, okay. Yeah.
So they put in a failing system. They totally pushed everybody at the beginning of COVID as far as they could push them. I was working 80 hours a week. Not 80 hours a week, sorry. I was working every waking moment. When I wasn't at work and I wasn't getting paid, I was on this thing. So they put a failing system in which added inventory to the coil section where a man was killed. But not only that, I find out afterwards that they changed the process. Now, what kind of fucking idiot would change the process where you have a lift truck driver coming in with coils? I don't know if you know what coils are. 20, 30,000 pounds of steel sometimes 6, sometimes 8. They actually changed the process, so they put this man in danger because he was cleaning up stuff while a lift truck was coming in with the other stuff. So a man dies, and I'm concerned, and I called the ministry, and nothing. So who do I go to? Do I go to the town of Tillsonburg where they rely on Marwood Metal? There's 2 names in Tillsonburg that own everything, and Chris Wood is one of them. These people had me thrown into the hospital after. They convinced me to kill myself as I was a piece of shit and not worth living. They never did an investigation. That's all I asked for. Do an investigation. They wouldn't do it. I had to force it upon them through the Ministry of Labor. Then the Ministry of Labor lets them pick who does the thing, pick who does the investigation. Then they have one guy who tells them the truth, and they come back with the guy who caused all the shit clean. Now, what do I do? What do I do when I know he killed somebody? I know he had me to the point where I wanted to kill myself. Then they have me thrown back in the hospital because I'm on Facebook giving out their dirty secrets. There was no mention of violence or suicide. Then I get dragged in here. I try and tell Poku, would you listen to me? Those are not my friends. If they called my doctor, it would have to be my workplace because I don't give out my doctor's name anywhere. I don't do that. My workplace has that. I'm not an idiot. I'm a smart person. I know how to put things together. So you tell me how Poku should be sitting there judging anybody's mental health. Because it's a joke. It is a complete joke that man is in control of people's mental health. And now I'm going to make it my mission to prove it and have him locked away so we can't do it to anybody else. I'm done. I'm done being told I'm mentally ill because I don't think the way everybody else does. And because I praise a God that no one else wants to believe in. You want to be godless? I don't care. Don't talk to me about it. I'm good with that. But if you want to talk to me, I'm going to talk about God because that's one thing I love.
So, Carl, there a lot of believers around? Are you referring to the Christianity? Is that what you're meaning?
I think religion is the biggest piece of shit that has ever been around. It's been manipulated and used. If you read the Bible and you see who Jesus was, and the Bible tells you all this stuff, it don't matter. It's what Jesus would do.
So
I'm spiritual. I follow Jesus. I don't follow all this hate. Like, Jesus did not say hate the homosexuals. He did not say hate anybody. Here's my thought. Like, here's the thing. My wife can actually look me in the face and tell me I hate my son because he's gay. I don't hate my son. I love my son. I'm trying to change the world for my son. The thing is, with homosexuality, I have no right to judge it because I've never thought that in my head. Never had those feelings. It's up to him and God to figure that out. Does God accept homosexuality? Well, that would be for my son to tell me because I don't know. I'm so frustrated right now by the way things have went. All based on lies. All based on lies.
Carl, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How can I help you today? Like, what were you?
What steps do I need? So, like, as much as I say I'm not mentally ill, I definitely have some problems. I can't even read over 2 paragraphs and have a full understanding of it. I can't even read. I don't want to leave my house because I'm afraid somebody's going to say something to me. And I have the truth, and I'll say it.
Right. Sorry, Paul.
No problem. Like, I shouldn't be scared to leave my house, but I am. Because I've been locked away five times over violence and suicide. There's no proof. There is no... Do you know one of the things he said? That I was losing weight. The son of a bitch never even weighed me. He don't know what was going on. Nothing he did make sense.
Oh, did you ever go to a tribunal called the Consent Capacity Board? Did that ever happen or not happen?
Yeah.
It did happen.
Yeah, like I said, he tried taking my ability to even operate my own money.
No, but was there a tribunal held though in front of a panel?
I did an online...
Tribunal.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the result of that? Did you?
I got to go home because he was trying to make it so I couldn't go home. I couldn't...
So you won that tribunal?
Yeah. Because he lied. He had my wife and kids there lying. There's never been any violence. I've even went into the cop station and said to one of the cops, not the chief, one of the cops, I said, was I ever a problem to you guys? Did I ever not communicate with you guys? Was I ever but I've been treated like shit. They had me, one of the times, I'll be honest with you, I was high as shit on marijuana. I took a edible that would knock a horse over. And I came in here because I knew I was getting locked up. So I was like, well, I'm taking one of these before I go. At least I'll have a good time. And I said to him, I said, will you please talk to me this time? Because there's no way you're going to lock me up because my wife has assaulted me. And she's the one that's made this call. And he wouldn't talk to me. So you know what? I knew the fucking cameras were rolling because I think one day I'll be able to use it against Poku. I got on my knees and I begged that man to listen to me. I was willing to look like an idiot and a fool. And you know what they did to me? They threatened to give me a shot when I said, okay, I'm good. I'm not causing any trouble. They threatened to give me a shot, and then they said they were going to give me a pill to relax me. Well, you know what? That pill was more than a relaxer. If you go check it up, I can guarantee it. Because I spit it out when you guys weren't watching. And it made my fucking mouth just tingle. So it was more, and it still knocked me out, even though I'd spit half of it out. Every time I came here, I was lied to. They're not going to lock you up. They're going to talk to you first. And I'd say, no, he never talks to me. Never talks to me. He throws me up. He throws me in. And that time where I begged, I got put in a room, locked, no bathroom. I had the diarrhea. I had to shit in a fucking paper cup like this. They had no toilet paper for me. But thank God they'd left a snack with a fucking little piece of freaking Kleenex or something.
You're in seclusion over here, Carl?
Yeah, and then I don't get what you guys do around here. Because I'm asleep, right? I'm asleep. I wake up. There's 8 people surrounding me. I'm like, what is going on? Well, we need to give you your sleeping pills. What kind of idiot wakes somebody up to give them sleeping pills? 8 people to wake me up to give me a sleeping pill. It doesn't make sense. Like, what goes on around here? No wonder people are going mental. They're being driven mental. I'm so scared of it, like leaving my house or saying, I'm scared of this conversation. And I shouldn't be.
What do you think is going to stem from our conversation here?
I don't know. Where can I go to get help? Where can I go to discuss my problems so I can get the help that I need? Because, like I said, it's hard when I don't have any friends. I don't have anybody. My family, I live with my family, and it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. My oldest one steals everything that I have. He's a disaster. He creates a disaster all over the place, and I'm not allowed to discipline him. I'm not even allowed to say, hey, you shouldn't do that. Or it's fuck you and die. And then everybody piles on me. So it doesn't matter who I talk to in my house. I can't make any rules or anything like that. But then again, if I decide to leave, then I got to worry about a phone call being made about how mental I am and having to come back in here. So what do I do? Look, my wife says that right in front of the cops. And I look at the cops and say, she's going to have me thrown away again. And you guys are telling me to leave. And she's telling you that she's going to have me locked up again. And you guys don't want to do or say anything. I don't get it. I don't. I'm not trying to cause problems, but I have the right to stick up for myself. I'm not paranoid. I have the receipts. I'll bring every receipt I have.
Receipts for?
Receipts for what I say. Like Poku, he's a mess. A fucking mess. He's a menace to my mental health. He destroyed me. Locking me up 5 times for violence and suicide and lets my brother walk every damn time, even though he threatens cops. The last time he was here, he told 4 people he was going to kill himself. Poku let him stay here the night and sent him home. But then again, he was here before that when Poku wasn't here and you were here. So everybody says I'm paranoid, but at least I'm coming with the information. My fucking brother's walking around with fucking gym bags and thinking everybody's got him wired and following him around and shit.
Right. So I wish I could discuss Isaac's case. I'm just not allowed to.
Oh, I get it. I'm just using a comparison as to violence and suicide. But when you actually think that you're following God, they'll lock you up. Right. But if you're being a menace, hey, or you could kill yourself, get out of here. That's the way it looks to me, right?
Right. Yeah, I just can't. I wish I kind of talk about that, but I'm just not allowed.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
I'm just trying to give it to you from my perspective.
So, can I ask you a very mundane question?
Sure.
Here, Carl, yeah. And listen, I want to make it clear that it's up to you whether you take the medication or don't take it. We've talked about that before, right?
Yeah.
I'm not following you home. I can't put a pill in your mouth. That doesn't look right.
But I lose my house if I don't.
Well,
right?
Yeah. So, are you?
Or I lose my check from Sun Life probably, right?
Sunlight hasn't contacted me.
Okay.
Not that I can remember.
All right.
Not recently, anyway.
Because I'd love to be a functioning member of society again.
So maybe at some point they did it. I just cannot remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if that's a mistake, if that's not accurate, it's a mistake. But I can't remember filling out any paper for Sun Life. But it's possible. I don't know. I see a lot of patients. Hey, Carl. So last time we spoke, April 3rd, I said Carl requested this visit as he has agreed. Requested this visit. Sometimes you dictate things, the English doesn't quite make sense, doesn't come up right. Anyway, I guess you agreed to the increase in risperidone last time. You're currently taking 0.5 milligram at bedtime.
Yeah, I was
Well,
told I had to, or I had to leave my
We'll
house.
increase to 1 and then 2 milligrams. Are you taking 2 milligrams or not taking 2 milligrams?
No, I'm not.
You're taking
I'm
one?
going to be honest with you. I'm not taking them.
You're just not taking
I'm
any.
throwing them in the garbage so
Yeah.
that she sees that I'm taking them.
Yeah.
Because I shouldn't have to.
Right, so Carl, listen, I'm not saying to take them, I'm just curious. So have you been taking them recently or not taking them?
No.
No, okay.
No, because somebody has to show me where I'm sick before I'm willing to take medication. I need someone to talk to.
Right.
Like, if that's not your job to sit there, and I know it's not your job to go through and everything that I say about the government, I don't even give a shit about the whole government thing. I care about Dr. Poku and what he did on my mental health. I care about my workplace and what they did to my mental health.
Right. All
And the
those-
police.
Right. All those things you're thinking about, like Dr. Poku and the forms, involuntary status, the tribunal, consent capacity board, tribunal, same thing. That's all provincial government. Just to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all provincial. Nothing to do with federal. Every province has their own, like, Ontario, BC, Saskatchewan, PEI. They all have their provincial health acts, and they're all kind of somewhat similar, but it's all provincial. It's nothing to do with the federal government.
All right.
Yeah, just to let you know.
Yeah, but here's this is all I want to do. I want to get better. Like, I don't know why I can't read more than 2 paragraphs and I lose focus and concentration. I can't even sit and watch a movie. I can't do it. Like, ask my wife. I can't do it. I got to get up.
Are you
Just-
watching movies with your wife?
What's that?
Are you trying to watch movies?
Yeah,
with your wife?
yeah.
What? Just remind me of her first name again.
Joanna.
Joanna. Just want to know how to refer to her. Yeah. So, as we talked about last time, Carl, or a few times maybe we've talked about it, I think you might benefit from that medication if you take it like a couple milligrams a night for a month and then see how you do. But I can't force you to take anything. It's a free world. You do what you want.
Yeah, but I think the whole time, this is all I asked for the whole time since this whole bullshit started. Please, can I have someone to talk to? Can I just please talk to somebody?
What are you talking to me? You can talk to me for
Well, I know, but who do I actually sit down and talk about these things that like I've went through a weird experience. I've got weird videos, weird pictures on my camera that would reference something in the sky that shouldn't be there. Now, Poku looks at it, one of like hundreds, and says, yeah, there's definitely something there. There's definitely something there, but don't worry about it. And also, when I told him that I want to try and change the world, he told me I was an idiot and I should leave the world alone.
So you said you don't want to change the world or do want to change the world?
I want to change the world. It's a shitty place. It's full of hate, disgusting. Like, it's pretty bad when you can't even trust your government. Do you think I want to sit here and go, Justin Trudeau's a pedophile? Probably a Satan worshiper who does completely evil things? I mean, I won't go into it because there's just so much of it. It's just... And see, here's the thing. I can be talked out of it. You told my wife you can't talk people out of that stuff. But I can. I just want the evidence. That's all. And there's no evidence telling me that he's a good dude. Other than the fact that people voted him in as the prime minister. Other than that, and Chrystia Freeland. Like, those two are peas in a pod. You should check out, if you're ever, like, interested, check out Chrystia Freeland's background. Her grandfather was a Nazi. George Soros. She was George Soros' little pet for a while. You can check that out. She went to, I believe it was like media school or something like that. Grandfather, a Nazi. She's involved in the WEF. Check that out. She's right there. She's part of it. She's part of the WEF, and you should check out the plans that the WEF has for your life.
We'll look on
Oh,
Klaus Schwab, check him out. Go check and see the future that he has planned for you. It'll probably work out really great for you, gentlemen, because you got good jobs, and you'll probably be able to keep your statuses, but everybody else will be running around like mules. But you won't get vacations anymore because you only have a certain amount of CO2 you can use, because John Kerry, Bill Gates, and all these climate people will be out on their private jets fighting climate change. Meanwhile, there's Zoom. Those things are fabulous things, but they need to get in their jets, and it doesn't make sense to me, you know what I mean? None of the stuff that they say makes sense to me. You know why? Because I'm spiritually awake. I'm not a stupid individual. I'm very, very smart. Intellectually, no. You'll beat me in a spelling bee, you'll beat me in a test every day. But common sense, putting things together, I don't know, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, but never hurts to ask the questions, because that's the only way you ever get the answers. But here's the problem. When you start asking questions, that's where everything went wrong for me. I asked too many questions. And look where it got me. Fighting for my life to stay out of a mental hospital. Because one person who thinks they know how to do their job is ruining people's lives. And that's just my opinion. Because if you're willing to let my brother walk out of here 24 hours after you had to fucking sedate him twice, he threatened cops, he told at least 4 individuals in the hospital, he fucking emailed me, emailed my wife, sent a whole bunch of people messages saying he was going to kill himself, and he walks right on out. I don't get it. I don't get it. What's his, like, does he have some sort of protocol? Anybody who's trying to do good in the world will lock them up, and anybody who threatens people or is a threat to society will just let them out, and hopefully they kill themselves? I don't know. Like, none of it makes sense. Like, this, like, and here's the thing with my brother, too. I try and talk to him because I went through the same thing. But here's the problem. Is he's going through it and he's not willing to look at himself. He's not willing to see that he's part of the problem.
Do you connect with Isaac sometimes?
Yeah, like I try to talk to him. Like when he says this bizarro shit like, hey, my TV's been hacked and they're listening to me. Look at what they did. I'll be like, because I won't take a shit.
What do you say to them?
I say to him, well, where'd you get the TV? Let's go. Let's go check it out. Let's go see if the back of that TV's been changed like you said you did. Or let's go see if it's the same back of the TV of the place where you bought it from.
Yeah, and what does he say?
Well, no, I don't need to do that. Well, then I just say to him, hey, Ike, how can I believe you if you're not willing to back up your statements?
So he feels he doesn't need to do that because it's already proven in his mind.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I get that. That's what you think. That's what you think about me. And that's not the case. I can be talked out of things. I'm a rational human being who has his own thoughts. But I can also change my thoughts with new information. Whereas Ike's not willing to take on any information. I'm just frustrated. I don't know what to do. I'm scared of being kicked out of my house. Then I'm in the hospital. Then I got nowhere to go, nowhere to turn. I got no friends. I lost them all because of this. Because I was willing to stand up for what I believed in. Because I worked for the place for 22 years, and a lot of my friendships were based on where I worked.
What do your buddies have to say when you chat about things to them? What are they?
I don't have any buddies.
Or what did they say?
What did they say? Well, like I said, a lot of them worked for Marwood. And here's the deal.
When you chat.
I got a letter from Marwood saying you are not allowed to communicate with your friends from Marwood. So, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. They did that. They did that, right? Which is probably illegal and probably shouldn't be able to be done. Here's the kicker. I have this buddy, Jeremiah, who works for the same owner as my company, right? Their human resources company got a hold of Jeremiah and asked him about me. So, what right does Marwood have to send telling me I'm not allowed to talk to people, but they can go to my friends outside of work and ask them about me?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, see, this is the kind of things I need to talk about so I can get an understanding of
But
how this works.
you'd have to talk to like a labor lawyer or something about that. I just wouldn't have a clue. Yeah. So, are you talking about this friend of yours has nothing to do with the factory you work at?
Right, right.
But he works for a different place.
Yes.
Under the same human resources umbrella.
Yes.
Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
somewhat. It's not the same human resource company, but it's the same owner.
Same one. Okay. What did I'm just curious? What did your buddies say when you did speak to them about? You probably talked about politics or Trump or the vaccine.
Oh no, I lost my friends right from the beginning because for some reason.
What did they have to say?
Well,
trucker convoy, whatever. I don't know what you talked about, or I don't know.
Oh, I lost my friends before that. I lost my friends right at the beginning.
A beginning of
This thing that happened to me, my spiritual awakening after thinking I'm going to commit suicide.
when was that? Was that like pre-pandemic? Post?
It was.
The pandemic was started around like.
Okay, remember when everybody went off for the pandemic?
It was. I think it was March 2020.
Yeah, remember when everybody went off? I stayed at work because we still had stuff that had to be shipped out. Right. Everybody else was gone. There was a few from management, so I was on the floor working my ass off. Right. And then when they brought everybody back...
They had like a skeleton crew for a while.
Yeah. Okay. And then when they brought everybody back, first of all, not everybody came back because now they could just sit there and collect a paycheck without coming back. So we had next to nobody come back. We had already been lacking supervisors, team leaders. Everything was lacking already. And then they changed the system on top of that. And it was a complete nightmare. A complete nightmare. Based on what they had done. Not anybody else.
So the psychological distress at the job increased at that time?
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. 70-something, 80 hours a week. And then on my phone on top. Like, I couldn't even drive home without being on my phone.
When on your phone with respect to work, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, it was nonstop. Right. And it wasn't enough for them. Yeah. It just wasn't enough.
So when do you feel you had your, I think you called it spiritual awakening or spiritual enlightenment? Or when was that?
I think it was just a little bit after I came in the hospital for suicide.
Which was 2020 or?
Yeah, it would have been 2020.
Yeah, I can look up in the note here. I can find out what it was.
Yeah, it was after all of that. Like, because like
that was with Kwaku, Dr. Poku.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, because like my first interaction with Poku was good.
Yeah, that would have been. It was April 2021. Is that possible? The first time you're in hospital?
It might have been, yeah.
Or I just have to.
I'm not good with dates right now. I can't.
That's all right. Sometimes if I change the. That's the one I'm looking for. I think I didn't have the, no, that was right. April 29, a discharge summary is written in reference to the admission. You were just over
Yeah, it was just overnight
The
because,
first time, yeah.
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 And he was good. He explained to me, hey, you're dealing with a narcissist, all this stuff. I took it upon myself to go do a bunch of research myself on narcissists because what he said, it made sense. And then I started looking at other things like Jordan Peterson. And then I took the truth and I made it my life. He did a little speech about the truth, and I said, from now on, no matter what, it's the truth or nothing.
Oh, Quaker or Jordan Peterson?
Pardon?
You're talking about Dr. Poku or Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson. But like Poku helped me, telling me that I was dealing with a narcissist. But like I said, I went home and did my own research and got into Jordan Peterson and then seen this speech about the truth, and it completely made sense to me. And I said to myself right afterwards, no matter what, it's the truth or nothing. No matter, regardless of the consequences. And that's got me nothing but trouble. If you speak your truth, you're in trouble. If your truth doesn't align with everybody else's.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. Do you see it's kind of you against the world sort of thing, or?
No,
Or,
well, yeah, because I see most of the world as evil, but I also see that there's a lot of good people in the world too. I see that there's a lot of good things going on in the world. I just don't see the bad stuff. I'm starting to see the good stuff now, because I'll tell you what, I used to cry every day about all the shitty stuff and all the shitty people. I don't do it anymore. I don't care what shitty people want to do. That's up to them. It's their story. They can have the ending that they decide to have. But I'm going to have the ending that I decide to have. And I don't think anybody has the right to try and stop me from that.
listen, Carl. I had a cancellation while you were here,
All right.
so I was able to spend a fair bit of time
Yeah.
with you. But I've got somebody waiting for me.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can probably wrap it up. So if you want to reconnect again, you're welcome to.
Okay.
Whatever you like.
Well, yeah.
Whatever you like.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yep.
Any thoughts? I'll walk you out here.
All right.
Ways